The plane crashes wing down. What that suggests to investigators is that the plane crashed out of control. You would never intend to have it be that way. You'd always try and level it out and crash as close to a regular attitude as you can.
Maybe the plane stalled.
You may be right. Check this out. It's gone viral.
A witness had filmed the plane during the final moment of the flight.
It appears that the left wing lost lift and dipped severely.
That's at least an 80-degree left bank.
Sure looks like a stall to me.
When you see evidence that looks like a stall, you immediately start questioning what could have led to that, and you go back to what's going on during that approach.
This is not an easy approach. They'd have to fly between the runway and the mountain and make 2 left turns before lining up with runway 12.
And this is where the plane crashed.
And just before the crash, they were beginning their final left turn.
Did the pilots bank too far during one of the turns and stall?
They would have had to go from 0 to an 80-degree bank in a few seconds.
Yeah.
It suggests there was a problem with the plane.
Yeah.
Anything beyond this is outside the airport's 4.3-mile protection zone. Okay, let's see his track.
Investigators examine Flight 202's radar track to see how the pilots set up their approach.
All right. So they make their first turn here and then head straight out of the protection zone. Then this left turn takes them directly into the Marhala Hills.
The radar track shows that the pilots flew closer and closer to the mountains surrounding Islamabad.
Wouldn't they have gotten a warning that they're approaching the hills?
Yes, sir. It should have sounded 60 seconds before impact.
The enhanced ground proximity warning system looks downward to see the height that you're at above ground, but it also looks ahead to see any terrain that you're flying towards.
If they got a warning, why didn't they try to pull up or turn to avoid it?
Did the pilots of Flight 202 get any warning of an impending collision?
The crew would have been given pictures on their navigation display of the approaching terrain, and they would have been given oral warnings. So, since they flew directly into the terrain, has the enhanced ground proximity warning system completely failed?
When the plane fell, was it in one piece?
Yes, it was.
Investigators found the airplane intact. There are no claims of responsibility by terrorists, so it pretty much ruled out that there was some type of nefarious means to bring the aircraft down.
Can you describe how the plane fell?
It was nose up and crashed near the threshold of runway 20.
The controller and other witnesses saw that the airplane was struggling to climb, had a nose-high pitch attitude, and then impact the ground.
Eyewitnesses recall that the plane struggled to gain enough lift to remain airborne, an indication it was in a stall. 1 week after the incident, Algerian investigators are joined by a member of the NTSB.
Air traffic controller and witnesses described seeing a stall. And one witness remarked that the landing gear was down.
If the landing gear is still down while the aircraft is trying to climb, it creates a lot of drag on that airplane. It takes a lot of thrust and a lot of power to maintain the climb to overcome all that drag from the landing gear.
That would affect a plane's ability to climb, but that alone wouldn't cause a stall.
There has to have been something else.
Do you have the load sheets?
Yes, right here.
One of the big questions is about the aircraft weight, because if you're too heavy, you won't climb as well as if you're within the weight envelope.
Investigators review the plane's load sheet to see if the plane was overweight before takeoff. Almost 2 hours after departure from Timaru, Flight 2300 is made ready to land without its landing gear.
So at this point, we're just both concentrating on our respective roles. Myself flying the aircraft and first officer, pilot monitoring.
Okay, everyone, brace for landing now.
As we were just about to touch down, and I was looking out the window, I could see the grass getting closer and closer. It was dead quiet. You could hear a pin drop.
Eagle Airways Flight 2300 is seconds from landing at New Zealand's Woodburn Airport without the landing gear deployed. If the plane doesn't come in completely level, there's a risk a wing could hit the runway and break off.
There was just this loud rumble, screeching sound as we slid down the runway. And it seemed to slide for ages.
Now the captain needs to bring the plane to a full stop to avoid sliding off the runway. If it goes into the grass, it can dig into the ground and cause the plane to flip.
The wings, the engines, the tail sections separated from the aircraft.
Investigators try to confirm witness statements that the plane broke up before it crashed.
This piece looks compressed, like it came from a high-energy impact. But this piece is intact.
What that indicates is this intact piece of wreckage did not go to the accident site with the rest of the airplane.
For sure an in-flight breakup.
The team is now convinced that Flight 108 broke up before hitting the ground.
The question is, what led to that? Is there any evidence of a pre-existing failure that would have led to the accident?
Hey, can you bring that piece over to the table?
Did a design flaw or some kind of failure create a fatigue crack, causing the wings to break off before impact?
Even though the airplane is fairly new, you don't rule out anything. Was there a flaw in manufacturing? Was there a full drilled where it shouldn't have been drilled? Was there some other issue that would cause a crack to start growing very early in the aircraft's life?
Well, this doesn't look like a fatigue crack at all.
It can only mean one thing.
Overload fracture.
Overload fractures can occur because the airplane's exceeded speed limits. Flight control inputs are severe. Severe turbulence can cause overload. And sometimes you have a combination of all three coming together.
Hey, can you get the lights?
What pushed this plane past its structural limits?